So I leaned in pretty hard into gardening chard and herbs this season, and then I figured I needed a way to use just copious amount of herbs. Part of the reason that I have so many herbs this year is I changed my strategy a little bit. I decided to intercrop herbs with my fruits and veggies in the earth boxes. So this season I've thrown in parsley with my peppers, basil with my strawberries, cilantro, and a bit of dill all over the garden. Those aren't actually in the earth boxes. Also, here you can see that I gave my chard prime territory in an earth box, but overestimated how much sun would be good for it. So yes, I have a lattice on top of some rickety pots, and that is providing partial shade throughout the day. Luckily for me, these crops have really been taking off, so I started Googling and came up with this recipe for an herbed crustless quiche that reminded me of something I had had before but didn't know what it was called. I think this turned out really well, and I'll put a recipe in the description box below just in case. But basically, it had a bunch of chard, dill, parsley, onion, and cilantro. So this recipe fit my garden really well, and I feel like my first real garden to table success. From outside of the garden, I also added eggs, milk, breadcrumbs, and caraway seeds, which I feel like the caraway seeds give it a certain je ne sais quoi. um, this is actually my second time making this, so I got a little bit more daring. I also added some squash leaves, nasturtium leaves, and nasturtium flowers to the mix. One reason to add squash leaves is to prune the squash a bit so there's air circulation. My squash tends to mildew partway through the season, so this is a preventative measure. There's not as much squash leaves as there is chard, though, so it really still tastes like chard and the herbs. I also tried to add nasturtiums to add a pop of color, but unfortunately, when I added them to the food processor, even at the end with just one or two short pulses at the end of processing everything else, it made the pieces too small to see. So next time I make this dish, I'm going to roughly chop the nasturtiums on a cutting board on the side and stir them in at the end, and I think that should solve that problem. The cool thing I found out from my Iranian friend after I made this for the first time is that I semi-recreated a Persian dish called Kookoo Sabzi, or at least I hope that's how it's pronounced. I think I've had that before, and so when I was making this for the first time, I kind of subconsciously was trying to recreate it. I don't know. Um, so apparently, this dish is traditionally topped with Greek yogurt, so I ended up making something similar. I made a tzatziki sauce to go with it, and that had herbs from my garden, some mint and some dill. I don't have cucumbers this year, so I had to go out and get the cucumbers. I really like this combo. This recipe is very herb heavy, at least for American tastes. The herbs tend to be treated as a main ingredient rather than just a flavoring, so it may not be to everyone's taste, at least the first time they've tried it. However, after adding the tzatziki sauce, my mother absolutely loved this combo. So you can add some kind of Greek yogurt dip or tzatziki or something for folks who aren't quite expecting it to be so herbed. It takes a long time for enough dill to grow back to make this, but I'll be patient and make it again. Hopefully next time with a larger flex of nasturtiums, because I've got plenty of those blooming right now with no place for them to really go. Like I can only eat so many or save so many seeds to make the what's it called, the poor man capers or whatever. So yeah, I'll definitely make this again. And again, this is one of my first, I think, real successes in doing the garden to table kind of thing. So I'm pretty happy about it and hope you get a chance to try it.